Out to the NPP primaries is on the 31st of January. We have 12 days to go. And last week we did a fair bit on this, talking to a senior rep in the Bawumia camp, a former defense minister. Today we have another interview to probe why a stalwart in the party, an intellectual who has created and formed one of the most powerful, influential civil society organizations in this country, had decided to throw his weight behind one of the candidates, not seen as an intellectual himself, but he's drawing a lot of intellectual superpower within the NPP. I'm fascinated by that, and I'll get to the heart of it. 12 days to go, and we need to have this conversation about one of these 5 individuals. As we know, the 5 will face off on Saturday next week. It's going to be a make or break for the party. Many have said it's a fight for the soul of the NPP itself. And they go into this particular contest, looking at the primary results of the last time. You see, Kennedy Agyapong there obviously was the outright second favorite in that race the last time this came around in 2023, with Bawumia securing 61.47%, and he came in at 37.41%. If you watch the polls, they tell us a story of how close this is going to be again. And some even suggest he may push this to a second round. We'll see. We'll see about that. Here on PM Express, though, we're going to be talking to this man, John Peter Amewu. He used to be the Railways Minister. He's a founding member of the Africa Center for Energy Policy. He used to be the Lands and Natural Resources Minister. He's an intellectual, a civil society person who got into politics, the first NPP candidate, member of parliament to win the Hohoi seat. So why does he support Kennedy Agyapong of all people? He's my guest tonight on PM Express. Stay with me. And thank you very much for staying with us here on PM Express. And it's always brought to you by Syntex tanks, also brought to you by Pepsodent Cavity Fighter Toothpaste. Syntex tank is a tank for you, and if you're looking for the right tank for storage of water, it's simple. If your tank doesn't have the tortoise on it, then it is not the correct tank. That's right, the tortoise tank, Syntex tanks, is a champion of water tanks. It is strong and durable and built to handle Hungarian weather, rain or shine. Syntex tanks are strong, are tough. And tonight, before you go to bed, please use a Pepsodent Cavity Fighter, because as you know, sugars are trapped between your teeth, leading to decay, because throughout the day you may have been eating. It also causes gum disease, in some cases foul breath. Brushing your teeth every morning and night with Pepsodent Cavity Fighter gives your teeth the protection they need, leaving you with a 10 times stronger teeth. Pepsodent Cavity Fighter is fortified with fluoride, and it makes sure that you indeed get the protection you need for your mouth. And so find it tonight and use it. My guest tonight in the studio is John Peter Amewu. He's a former Minister for Railway Development. He's also the former Member of Parliament for a Hohoi constituency. And he still holds the record. He did a miracle, really. Miracle winning the Hohoi seat. Nobody dared go there if you are a member of Parliament, if you are an MPP candidate, but he did it. And today he's throwing his weight, that skill, that know-how behind Kennedy Agyapong in that race to lead the NPP to the 2028 elections. Mr. Amewu, thanks for your time here on PM Express.
Thank you, Evans.
Great to have you.
Great having you.
So, what have you been up to since the party lost power in 2024?
I've been between the constituency and Accra. I've been more or less running a football club. Okay. And also doing some other personal jobs, 1 or 2 consultancies on my own. Yeah. Okay.
What is the football club called?
Hawaii United Football Club.
Hawaii United Football Club. So that is the primary reason why you are still in Hawaii?
No, Hawaii is my home. Of course, that's where I was born. Mm-hmm. And so I need to visit home from time to time. But the football activities also most often draw my attention to visit Hawaii. Yeah, okay. That's what I mean.
And that, as I said, you did a miracle. Never happened before in the party, the NPP, but you managed to pull it off. And I remember the time that you won it, many of us political watchers thought, lightning can strike twice. This must have been a huge fluke. And it turned out in 2024, you lost that seat, as was predicted. Yeah. Was that just because of the tsunami and you were swept by it because Ghanaians were just upset, punishing the government, and you were just a victim of that? Or, as we predicted, you were not meant to win the seat in the first place? What was it? what was it for you?
Well, I think in 2020, the people of Howe, having seen my work as a former regional chairman of the Great Party, former mayor under His Excellency President Kufuor at that time, they believe that I was capable. And then being a minister at that time, energy, from lands to energy, my works were visible across the constituency. You know, every family was touched in terms of the developmental agenda pursued by the NPP government through me at that time. So the people of Owe wanted to fill the taste, the name Amewu, and that is exactly why they gave me the nod. And I went to Parliament and continued to do the good work, you know, for the benefit of the ordinary citizens until the 2024 election. And they thought that, well, we need to try another candidate. Amewu has his chance. Let's give the opportunity to another person to try. And so for me, I think basically that was the reason. And they have another candidate now as an MP. So this people were what? Tired of Amewu?
Decided to make a change?
It would be extremely difficult for me to understand why I was not repicked, because everybody knows throughout Ghana, all the research that were done, clearly that the people of Uwe were going to vote. But you know, the mind of the electorate, they may see something quite different in the other candidate that I may not have. And maybe that is why they want to try the candidate. So I was booted out, you know.
Did it have anything to do with the governance of the country that we saw under Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo?
You will recollect that the presidency under Nana Addo, when we took over the power in 2017, we did extremely well. I mean, nobody can take that fact from His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo and his team. Certain factors, you know, then dropped in, which basically economic factors, some of which I would call swing factors in voting analysis that affected NPP as a party. And therefore, you realize that that transcends across constituencies and nations. So basically, we were booted out because of our economic performances, leadership skills, corruption tax, and name them. And these are swing factors that affect, you know, voting patterns in Ghana. This accounts for between 60 to 70%. And so really, if all those factors are against you, then already you should know that you are on the way out. And exactly this is what happened. Most of my colleague members in Parliament, I mean, they were voted out. And so the leadership skills also affected us. The rejection of the candidate. Myself, I was rejected. The NPP candidate who was representing the NPP as a government to come into government, he was also rejected, okay, coupled with these factors. So several indicators were the causes of our losses in the election.
Even from that, it's clear that you've gained tremendous experience. Voted regional chairman of the party. You rode on the back of the work that you did there, stood, you won in a place that nobody dare even attempt to contest and dream. But even before that, you came from the think tank community, civil society. You founded Africa Center for Energy Policy with your good friend, Amin Adam. I remember then you one of those very astute, surgical thinkers when it comes to energy. You brought that into government. You became the Lands and Natural Resources Minister at the time. So clearly, you came from you're a thinker. So why Kennedy Agyapong, of all people, considering the kinds of contenders you have, why him?
Thank you so much, Evans. You're not the first person to have asked this question. First of all, I was also a mayor under President Kufuor. And again, I was one time the regional chairman of NPP in Volta region. The issue why I think that Ghana need a change, the party need a change, is through a medium. It has nothing to do with Kennedy Agyapong as an individual. I have an opportunity to interact with all the other candidates, 5 candidates. In 2005, 2006, I was the mayor of Hohoe. I have a very good relationship with Kobna. He was then the spokesperson of the then president, Akufo-Addo. Had good relationship with him, excellent man of all qualities. Edu Chum, my colleague, member of parliament and a minister in cabinet, I have good relationship with him. I know him very well. Brian, a member of parliament, a colleague member in cabinet, I dealt with him as far back as Minister of Land, Minister of Energy, and Minister of Railway. His Excellency, Dr. Bawumia, as a minister, I had good relationship with him. I dealt with him. We sat in cabinet together. I work under his economic management team as a team player. So I am in a position to tell you that I have dealt with all these people. All those 5 candidates are exceptionally good candidates, but each of them has its core capabilities and competence. I have listened to the ground. I have listened to the taxi drivers. I have listened to the market women. I've gone to the hospital. I listened to the nurses, the doctors, and the general population. We need a medium through which our party will be united. The election that is coming on in 2028, 2029, it's not a normal election. And so you don't expect to do things in a normal way. You need to do something that the whole nation is calling for. And so this election, it's not because Kennedy is an individual. Kennedy is just a medium. The whole nation wants Kennedy.
The whole nation?
Yeah, when I say what I have listened to, the people I have listened to, comparably to the others. The competitive advantage Kennedy has for me, which makes me to side with him in this particular election, is the call by the citizens that are going to vote. I've stated earlier on, Evans, that there are swing factors that we look for in every election. And these swing factors contribute between 65 to 70% in every election. These factors are basically internal or external. The external environment, you can look at the economic indicators or the economic performances. The internal ones have to talk about the empathy of the individual, his leadership skills, his level of collaboration, his attentiveness, his vision, which is very important. These are internal environment issues within the candidate. When I have examined all these other 5 candidates, the best among them, the one that is most competitive in terms of these internal environment issues, it's Kennedy Agyapong. Most people may not have a direct relationship or have dealt with Kennedy directly. I have had this opportunity with my experience as a minister, as a member of parliament. And so for me, this placed Kennedy above the others. The other candidates are equally good, but when it comes to the 2028, 2029 election, they may not be on the same level of platform with Kennedy in terms of the weight that people may have behind them. And so I think that Kennedy had this competitive advantage over the other candidate. And this basically explains the rationale why I think Kennedy is the best.
I'm so trying to pick through the bones of what you said. So his competitive advantage is, if you want to bullet it for me, what would they be? Say 5 key things that he has stand out?
He has a very clear vision for this country.
Okay.
In the 1970, I think later part of 79, the Chinese Revolution, which we popularly call the economic reform in China, was then driven by Deng Xiaoping, the president at the time. Why did China become what China is today? It's because of the clear vision that the president had at that time. Enterprise involvement, private enterprise involvement in economic activities on a very small scale basis. This is exactly what Kennedy is talking about. Domestication. Domestication. And this vision is sent clear to the ordinary people on the ground. Staying in your ordinary, garage, small equipment, and add value to your products, right down from your home. And so this economy that we're talking about is no longer going to be looked at a net import economy. Kennedy is talking about a net export economy. In a net export economy, of course, job opportunities are opened. Don't forget the 2028, 2029 election is going to be driven basically by youth and unemployment issues, which is affecting this country. Kennedy has a very clear message for employment.
Which is what?
Well, the industrialization and job creation through private enterprise development.
But everybody has said that.
No, everybody has said it, but how are you going to implement it?
But there's nothing new about that. You campaigned for Akufo-Addo.
Yeah.
Akufo-Addo said that. He was even more direct, more precise.
Akufo-Addo.
Through the one district, one factory.
Yeah. One district, one factory is equally a good concept. Ken's agenda for private enterprise domestication, it's basically on individual basis. We travel to places like the Afram Plain, maize producers, people who produce basic commodities and just send to the market. He's saying that those produce or products will not go directly to the market any longer. A little value is added. Okay?
We said that for years.
But it has not been done.
Yeah, so what Ken is just repeating what everybody has said.
No, but then you need a leader that will make sure that what it said, it's been done. Ken, it's somebody I have interacted with. That's why I'm saying that, he's clear in his mind.
On industrialization, I'm still waiting to hear something new.
Yeah.
Because I haven't heard anything new so far. So he says he will industrialize, add value, but all the candidates say that.
They haven't done it, isn't it? And this is an opportunity for us to have it done by Kennedy.
How do you know he can do it when all this
Because of his trust and because of his qualities. And that distinguishes him from others.
And his qualities, what exactly?
Yeah, the vision that he's putting for, his leadership skill.
Okay, what is his leadership skill?
Ken
is empathetic.
Yes, he has
somebody who, according to him, anytime he gives anybody money or helps anybody, he's on radio shouting, screaming about it. I supported you. No. I gave you money.
No.
And one of your very good friends, Atacha, was recently the latest victim of that. He says they give Atacha $500,000 to rent a house. How is that empathy?
Well, if somebody goes to an extent of telling a group of people what he has done for others, it depends on the way he portrayed or said. But I'm saying that Ken has weaknesses, as everybody may know. You may have a weakness. If people want to look at those as weaknesses of Ken and therefore think that he's not a leader, I don't want to go to
because you mentioned empathy. But if it's that his weakness, then he's not empathetic.
Yeah, that it's not necessarily...
Lack of empathy is his weakness.
Not a strength. Please, weaknesses can also become strengths. Weaknesses can become strengths. If you look into the Bible, most of the great leaders in the Bible have weaknesses. Talk about, Peter, talk about Solomon, talk about Moses, talk about Samson. These are leaders in the Bible that have huge weaknesses. I am a Christian, okay? God in Corinthians, 2 Corinthians 12-9, it stated that God derives his strength through the wicked. And that is why you see that all these people, though they have these weaknesses, God used them as leaders. God is not for perfection and say, because you are perfect, let me go into the perfect person and make him a leader. Who is 100% perfect person in this country? Nobody. So Ken may have his weaknesses. And don't forget, the realization that you have a problem or identify your weaknesses have already solved 50% of that problem.
Ken has realized that
of course, everybody,
he has a weakness.
He knows he has a weakness.
So let me understand. So list for me today, what are Ken's weaknesses? What has he admitted to?
Well, everybody knows of his outburst, okay? But that outburst can be transformed to strength. If you identify a weakness, which he knows, he can transform into strength, which he's doing. So Ken's weaknesses should not be seen in isolation. You here have a weakness. Everybody, the current president has a weakness. His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa have a weakness. All the other candidates have weakness. Why Ken?
You said that
why Ken
he has accepted his weaknesses.
He knows his weaknesses.
What are they? How did he do that?
How did
he convince you that he acknowledges them and he what? So he's dealt with them? Or
he knows that he has an outburst.
Yeah.
He knows. Have you seen him any of these days with such, outburst qualities?
Because he's begging for votes.
Oh, of course, even if he's begging for votes, then he knows that that will not trigger him the opportunity to achieve the vote if you have to exhibit that.
This is pretense.
It's not pretense.
Not a performance for us.
If he didn't know he has that outburst.
To hoodwink the elect voters in your party.
What about the other candidates that have weaknesses and hide it? They don't want to show it. And they get the opportunity and then they begin to misbehave. We all know Ken's outburst as a weakness. But I'm saying that weakness can transform to strength. And which we all seen. It can transform to strength. Okay, if you have a weakness and you know it is a weakness, you can transform it to strength.
How do you transform? And the only one you mentioned that I'm questioning now is the empathy. How do you transform, because you believe that is a quality, you need to be a leader. How do you transform a person who clearly hasn't got empathy? Because anybody he's helped, he's blasting it and calling you
No,
out.
he doesn't blast and call. Please.
I mean, the names are countless. He has done it to Atachia.
What did he do to Atachia?
He mentioned that he helped Atachia.
Is it false? Is it false?
Atachia says it's not true.
Why? How do you know it's true? It's not true.
Atachia's word. I think it's his.
Yes. So which one do you?
I don't believe in it. I'm just telling you what Atachia said.
Yeah.
Atachia says it's not true that he gave him $500,000. That's not the only person he's done that to. He sat on radio and his show. Many people he's helped. I've heard him say, I helped you. I gave you money. You can't even lace my shoe. And that is no empathy. How do you transform that into...
Those are outburst qualities. I am saying that apart from those outburst qualities, Ken has an empathy. Ken is a grassroots defender of this party. Ken has the feeling of the grassroots. Those are empathy qualities of somebody having an empathy. Ken understands the needs of the grassroots. He associates with them. The grassroots identify, themselves with this gentleman. And so they are prepared to support him. Currently, where this party is now, we need somebody that can speak to the grassroots. We need somebody that can bring the party together. And among the 5 candidates, I see the best person to do that is Kennedy Agyapong.
You've mentioned bring the party together, unity. Kennedy Agyapong, you believe, will unite the NPP. Kennedy Agyapong is a divisive character.
No.
He's attacked Akufo-Addo.
No.
He said publicly that if you leave me, I will say things that will break your party.
No.
How does a person like that unite?
In any instance that you hear Kennedy Agyapong going against the party, he is in an attempt to defend the party. Somebody doesn't speak for 20, 30 minutes, and then you just go and capture 15 seconds or 20 seconds of the whole conversation and play. That's exactly what is happening. I have listened to Ken, for instance, when he said that NPP people or the party he belongs to, the people are very stupid. I will say the same thing. What happened? As a party, you have a conversation with your elders in a room, and one among you goes out to record the conversation and go and give it to the opponent. You think I don't have a right to insult or to show an outburst about such behavior? But somebody goes and just copy that aspect of the discussion where Ken said, no, NPP people are stupid.
But I know you.
What triggered that?
John Peter, you will never use the word stupid.
No, we told you. No, it depends. Please, listen. Sometimes the behavior within the environment in which you are coming for can raise certain, consequences. And you may say things.
Would you call your party stupid even if you feel justified?
Well, if I feel justified and the behavior of the people at that time merits that to be done, I will find a way to do it.
As an intellectual,
please,
a group of people in your party conduct themselves in a way that is reprehensible to you. You generalize to the entire group.
Evans, are you telling me that you have never used such a word or insult even in your own family or in your house or anybody?
I don't.
Are you telling me that you are 100% perfect?
But publicly,
please,
no,
are you
telling
me
perfect,
that?
Obviously,
yeah, nobody is perfect.
I don't want to be president because I know I'm so fallible. I don't qualify.
Well, that is why
he wants.
That is why leaders. That is why people who are leaders, or the great leaders that I have demonstrated to you, even in the Bible, are not perfect.
You know,
and I'm telling you because in their imperfections, that is why God derives strengths from and then use them. And so most of the leaders, as I've told you earlier, even from the Bible, they are not perfect. Kennedy Agyapong, it's not a perfect person.
I think
I standing before you here, sitting before you here, I'm not a perfect person. So yes, Kennedy may have gone wrong. He would have said certain things that are not conducive to the environment but certain situations might have prompted him to do that. Like I'm giving you a clear example. People's outbursts may be different. Somebody may react differently from such a scenario. I may react differently. And Kennedy's reaction is that what the guy has done is very stupid. Why do I belong to such? And he's questioning himself. He's questioning his integrity for the behavior of that person. That cannot be said that the person is insulting and the person doesn't respect.
When you first give us a scenario and he concludes that the NPP, we are stupid, that is a general stick, brush he's using to pin the entire party. You certainly can say that is justified, even if what has happened was reprehensible and condemnable and you can criticize it. But to say the entire party, including the delegates who will be voting for him now, on 31st. That clearly cannot be right.
No, because the people who came out to do that belongs to the party. He was questioning why he belonged to such people. That was what he was questioning. And that the behavior and the attempt by those groups of people to do what they did was what he described as being stupid. So the justification in terms of coming out publicly, I would have wished that the whole tape is played and for people to listen to, but not just to go and capture certain segments of the tape and play it to the nation and say, no, this guy is not the right, hasn't got a leadership quality. Who is a leader?
Yeah.
Which qualities do leaders perform or have that Kennedy doesn't have?
What about Ken makes him a unifier? Precisely. I've just illustrated what, from a very public observation point of view, appears to make him somebody who is a very divisive character, but you say it's the opposite. So give me the evidence that backs that conclusion.
Yes.
That is different from the Kennedy we've seen, who is insulting people in the party, attacking party leaders. That's somebody who comes across as a very divisive character.
Kennedy,
what makes him a unifier?
Kennedy has been in this party long before some of us joined this party. He's known as a grassroots defender. He's known as somebody who listened to the members of the party in terms of this police station executive. He's known as somebody who has helped the party through various means. He's known as somebody who put himself forward to sacrifice for them. Kennedy had gone to jail because of NPP, because of his utterances in attempt to defend the party. He's gone to jail. So this is somebody whose attitude towards the party, somebody whose love towards the party, everybody has come to acknowledge. Why would you describe such a person as not being a unifier? Why would you think that such a person cannot bring, the masses together? These are some of the things that I've seen in him, and I believe. And I have also listened. Based on my judgment as an individual, I have also listened to other people. What is your view about Kennedy? Why do you think that Kennedy will be the best, person as a flag bearer vis-a-vis forming to become a president, leading the party into government? And some of those qualities are things that the electorates will tell you. And so it was on those bases that some of us, specifically myself, took the decision that Ken is the best candidate for this particular.
Let's to be a president of this country, first he wants to lead your party, but ultimately he wants to be president, your character must be above board because you're going to be leading, you'll be setting an example.
What does
the
that
rest of
mean?
the country. This is Kennedy Agyapong. I'm going to put a few of the things he had said beyond the party, calling people out, etc. And tell me if you can defend some of those. This is Kennedy Agyapong who, in 9th July 2021, on his Net2 television, was talking about one of our colleagues, Addo Dankwa. Quote, he should be beaten seriously. This is on national television. He is so annoying. He insults him and then asks that people should find him and beat him. He didn't only end there. He then goes to Ahmed Swale. You all know where he lives. He mentions where he lives. When you see him, beat him. The guy was killed, as we now know, months after that. How do you support a man like that?
Those are not qualities of a president.
I mean, just my question.
No, I'm asking you.
I mean, how do you support a man like that?
I am asking you, those words are not words that can come from a president.
No, how do you support a man like that?
No, how do you base his presidency or his attention now to become a leader of a party on those words? Because those are not qualities of a leader.
Are these qualities of a leader?
I am asking you. You asked me the question. I'm asking you. Those are not qualities. Leaders have worse qualities. We have leaders that are murderers. We have leaders that commit a lot of adultery. We have leaders that are polygamists all over. We have leaders that have killed. People have killed and they become leaders. I am not saying that killing a human being to become a leader, it's a right person. There is nothing about all this thing that you've said. Somebody died close to Kennedy. Kennedy had not killed anybody. If Kennedy as an individual felt that somebody has done something wrong, and therefore his outburst makes people think that he's not a leader, that makes me to say, no, please. Those are not necessarily factors that makes one to be qualified as a leader. And that is why I'm demonstrating. Even in the Bible, there are leaders that have caused worse things than what Kennedy is doing today. And I've told you, the strength of God in perfection of a leader is not in the perfect being, but it is in the weakness of that person. And so that is where Kennedy is coming from. So I believe, I am a Christian. I believe strongly.
So your Christian values say that you have an individual who calls for a journalist for just doing his job to be beaten and assaulted.
That is not what I'm telling you that my Christian values tell. What I'm telling you is
that
based on my Christian values,
that is what he believes in.
And based on what I have seen in the past and what even happens in the Bible, there are leaders even in the Bible that commit worse things than what you're attributing to Ken. Does it mean Ken cannot become a leader? This is just a simple question I'm asking you.
But I haven't.
Is there any single leader in this world that do not have weaknesses? Are you measuring Kennedy's weaknesses above others? Or are you measuring...
I'm just simply asking you, I'm putting before you Ken's public exhibited character.
Yeah.
I'm saying this is very, very specific. I'm not talking about what others have done, other leaders, but it's about Ken because you support him. The words that he's uttered, calling for another professional to be assaulted and beaten, you're saying that that is good enough to become a president?
If that's how he wants to reprimand the person, I am not justifying for him calling for somebody to be beaten. But I'm saying that there are leaders that have done well. We have leaders today in this country who look into the faces of capable NPP men and told them openly that they are all thieves. I'm coming.
It justifies.
I'm just saying that there is nobody.
Call for others to be
it does not necessarily justify that, but I'm saying that there is nobody perfect. We have people in this country who look into faces of other people and say they are all thieves, insulting them. The 17 thieves. They became great leaders today in this country. They insult 17 NPP people that they are thieves. There is nothing wrong about that. For no reason, I'm just coming.
We are not talking about anybody.
No. I'm
Kennedy Agyapong.
Kennedy, when I came here, I said it is not Kennedy. I said Kennedy is a medium. That's the first thing I said. I said it is not Kennedy as an individual. Kennedy, it's a medium. And that is why I am here to make sure that we use that Kennedy as a medium to transform this country. He becomes a flag bearer vis-a-vis, going back as a president, as a medium. So I am not, I mentioned it clearly.
Let me ask you, are you proud of those words? Are you proud of this posture?
I have examined him. I have looked at some of his comments.
No, this very specifically, asking the public to lynch a journalist, you're proud of it?
I am not justifying that, but I am telling you that every leader has a weakness.
That is what
yes.
But every human being
yes, has
but
a weakness.
But very specifically.
Yeah. If I have not listened to him, if for some reason, I'm not here to judge, because there might be certain, how do you call it? There should be a trigger for him leading him to that state.
No, the journalist just did his job and he wasn't happy.
Well, I was not.
So asked. I can tell it because he's my colleague.
Well, I was not there.
And he called for the person to be lynched. I'm saying, are you proud of this coming out of the mouth of the man you are supposed to?
Please, I wasn't there. I didn't listen to it, and I am not the best person to give.
So obviously you're unproud of it.
But I'll disagree with anybody that out of no, malice will just come and say, go and lynch this person. I will not
disagree with Ken?
Because I don't know the premises on which he's coming out. I am not in the position.
Can anything, let's say you don't know the background, can anything justify a leader standing on national television asking people to find another human being and lynch him and beat him? Can anything justify that?
There will not be any justification for that.
Yeah.
There will not be any justification.
So why are you following him?
I am following Ken because he's a medium, which I stated here, that it is not Ken. I have listened to what the Ghanaians want. I have listened to what the party people want. I have listened to what the electorates are saying. Most of the electorates, maybe, you think they are not familiar with what is happening? You wait and see what is going to happen on 31st. These are the people that are going to vote. They have listened to some of these things better than I do. But they are saying, bring us this gentleman and we are prepared to make him a president. Who am I to say no? Who am I? You may have all this before you. I am telling you, today we have people who are presidents in this country. We have seen, presidents in the past, presidents who have, put their fellow vice president, in check, president who has slapped people, president who has done worse things, even today in this country. They became president, and they are still president. Okay, so we cannot just pick and choose some of these little attributes of weaknesses of Ken and say because of this, Ken cannot be a president. Ken cannot be a president because he doesn't speak English. I mean, what are those for? I am saying that Ken is going to be a leader of our party and therefore, through that, becomes the president of this country. He is a medium that the party foot soldiers want to use. And Ken is that person. And that is why I'm following.
Let me put another thing he said to you. And again, this was again very troubling to hear him say. In April 2012, quote, if you dress up anybody in fake police outfit and present him, and this is just before the elections, we will lynch him. We would beat all guns and Evers in the Ashanti region if this is how they want us to go.
What triggers that? When he said we'll beat all guns and this is...
Because of the time, this is April 2012.
Yeah, what was the reason?
This was the time when there were allegations that the government then had sent in agents provocateurs. They're going to be presenting themselves as MPP folks and they're going to be causing chaos, and then they will be blaming the MPP for it.
And is it true that there was something like that?
Well, I'm saying, I'm just giving background. But his words are just we would beat all guns and Evers and Ashanti if this is how they want us to go.
Did he end up beating the people?
But these are his words have consequences.
Well, because they are warnings. Yes.
You come from the Volta region.
I come from the Volta region.
You are an Ever.
And I'm aware.
You hear the man you're following saying, well, he isolates only guns. And
Ken has a wife from Volta region. He's married from, his children are from Volta region.
yes.
Ken loves the people of Volta region.
Yes.
He married from the Volta region.
Can you at least condemn this?
What did he say wrong that I have to condemn?
We would beat all guns and Evers and Ashanti region if this is how they want us to go.
What triggers that?
This, I've given you the context
What
already.
triggers that?
In April 2012,
Yeah.
I give you the context. Before the elections, there were concerns that, individuals are going to present themselves and etc., causing chaos. And he went out to, of course, take them on, as in typical Kennedy style. Again, he says, again, I declare war in this country. We would club any intruder who intends fomenting trouble with a machete or butcher them.
That doesn't stop Ken from becoming a president or becoming a leader of this party. Please, let us look at personalizing issues around Ken and think that...
But it is Ken's person, his attributes, his qualities that people are going to look for. That is what convinces you. In fact, you look at his character, and that's what convinces you.
Precisely.
That is what will convince the voters, your delegates, to vote for him. And this is who he is.
Those are some of the negative weaknesses that can be transformed to strength. And for me, these are some of the reasons. We have leaders that sit down quietly for things just to bypass without saying the word. We need a leader that one can throw or send a signal. Okay? And if Ken is sending a signal, please, if you people out there to do this, the consequences will be too heavy for you to carry. It's a strong signal. Today we see Donald Trump going around saying all kinds of things. Americans loved him. Thousands of Americans. You may not be happy with him, but thousands of Americans love him. So leadership qualities in terms of
witness. You see Ghana's Donald Trump?
I see Kennedy as the next Rawlings, J.J. Rawlings of our time. Okay? I love Rawlings. I love he's my very good friend, perfectly. But I think Kennedy is the next J.J. of this country.
Can Kennedy be salvaged? Can he be saved from himself, from knowing his history? His public record is what I'm just playing to you now. And it's very clear that...
I have not seen anything about those public records.
Well, I mean, it's Kennedy's public record until now.
What is that? Is that his utterances?
Yes, but you said you're a Christian. Out of the abundance of a man's heart, the mouth speaks.
The mouth speaks.
And this is the abundance out of the abundance of his heart.
Yeah.
He's been uttering these
all
words
those ways
so
that I'm saying
this
that
is who the man
I am saying that.
is.
No, I'm saying that all those ways that you are bringing out in his utterances are just caution. There is no indicator or no final point in those statements that you can tell me that Ken has actually gone to do this. Examples that I have enumerated, and for some of those ways that comes out from those examples, are a result of his continuous attempt to defend this party. And so I will not blame Ken for some of those utterances.
Who will you blame?
I wouldn't know who to blame, but I'm saying that I don't think I'll blame Ken for some of those.
But if you don't blame him, you must have an idea whose responsibility it is.
Responsible for what? Maybe the person who makes him... No, if I have a discussion with my party people, in a room, very high-level people, and we want to undertake a certain actions, and you single out the information to the public, I will blame you. I will not blame the person who comes out to insult you. I will blame you, the individual that leaked the party information to the public. You are the one I will blame.
For those around him, have you attempted to try and tame this part of him, to get him to reform at least? Genuinely, sincerely. Has that been an attempt to do that?
Ken will tell you that even in the Bible, there are 10 commandments. And since then, nobody has added one. He has already been tagged as the 11th or the 10th sins of Kennedy Agyapong. And since the 10 or the 11th sins of Kennedy Agyapong, none has been added. So let's put that somewhere. Okay? Ken is not going to add anything to the sins that he has committed. He has accepted it, his weaknesses, which I'm telling you. Let all the other leaders that are contesting, or even the presidents that we have in this country in the past, comes out openly so that we also look at their weaknesses as an individual. I don't think anybody will vote for a person to become a president.
So
it is because Ken's one is out there. okay, which we know. And I'm telling you that if you know your problems or if you know your weaknesses, you have already solved your problem. Ken knows his weaknesses.
He accepts his weaknesses?
He accepted. He said, well, I have 11 sins.
So he accepts those
I don't want to
11
add
sins?
any sin.
He accepts those 11 sins?
Yes, of course. He said, yes. They come out to say that he has 11
so
sins.
there's
and he said, well, they have, these are your 11 sins. He said, well, even in the Bible, there are 10 commandments. Nobody has added any word to it. The 11 sins that you have attributed to me, well, let me pack those 11 sins and pack them somewhere. Let it be. And Ken had been who he is till now since I started working for. Ken is a team player. He collaborates a lot. Most people don't know who Ken is because, you see, the man listens. I speak to Ken on a regular basis. He listens. He weighs options.
Because he needs your support now.
No. If I told you that I have interactions with these 5 candidates long before. I've been dealing with Ken since I was a minister of Minister of Railway Development, Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Energy, a Member of Parliament. I have dealings with Ken. Okay, so I know Ken long before now. I know him long before. He's a team player. All the other candidates that are contesting, I am not saying that these candidates are not good. Among them, the best is what we're looking for now. And I think the best among the other, 4 candidates, it's Kennedy Agyapong. He can win the election for it.
But do you concede that he may do well, and whether he wins the primary or not is another question. He may do very well within the parties. At least if you look at the last...
Ken is winning the primaries. He has won the primaries.
On the evidence of 2023, he's a strong contender on the evidence of that. I see why you say he'll win, because that's why you're campaigning for.
Precisely.
But for me, I'm just looking, he's a strong contender. He may do well internally, but can you sell him to the general public, to Ghanaians at large?
Did you listen carefully?
Knowing that we've seen this Ken, who is insulting everybody, dividing this country and tearing us apart with his words. Can you sell and market him to the rest of us?
Evans, I told you that I took this decision to use Ken as a medium for NPP and finally as a country, because I have listened to the voters. I have listened to Ghanaians. I set instances of the number of people I have listened to.
Anyone can?
Yes. And these are people who are not even delegates. And these are what they're saying, that if you bring this gentleman, we will vote for NPP in 2028, 2029 election. Okay, so yes, of course. I think and I believe sincerely that if we present Ken, he's not just going to be a flag bearer. Ken will eventually, become the president of this republic.
Can you tame Ken?
When you say tame, what do you mean?
He has a tendency to be bombastic, to say very outrageous, very hurtful things to people.
When you are a president, it's different from when you are a candidate or when you are a member of a party. Okay, most of the things that Ken would do as a president, it's not going to do it as an individual. It's going to do it as a team. Okay, so at that level, it is no longer Ken. At that level, it is somebody the larger party it's presenting, and it is the voice of the party that is going to play. So Ken as an individual may be there, but its limit in terms of individual outburst and performance, of course, would have to be driven by the larger group of people who are around him. And we believe that the kind of team that Ken is forming, the people that he's going to work with when he eventually becomes a president, will give him good guidance.
So try and square this circle for me. Amewu, an intellectual, civil society. Dr. Makese Bebwa, an intellectual economist. Former deputy finance minister, also, done economics and there. You have the 2 former deputy finance ministers, actually. You have also Kwati, also supports him.
Dr. Apambe.
Exactly. Former GBA president, Yabuafo, supports him. And many other intellectuals.
A lot. Dr. Kiki Sapon.
Yeah, Kiki Sapon, exactly, former GM.
And there are more of them that
are
there that have not come up.
Intellectuals. Kennedy, he makes no bones about it. He's not an intellectual, but he gets things done. That's his mantra. What about him? It seems like it's counterintuitive. What about him attracts all these intellectual heavyweights to his side? Do you think those rather should be naturally aligned with Bawumia? What's that? Let me understand what's happening there.
You see, leadership is not
it's an
about
irony.
It's not about the. No, it's not an irony. Leadership is not about the quality of your educational background or your level of intelligence. Not at all. Leadership is driven mainly by the voice of the people. Okay? So you may be an intellectual, you may be the best learned person on this planet, but the voice of the people may not want you to lead them. And so you cannot be a leader. We have professors, we have doctors. You know, Jerry John Rawlings, what is his level of education? Right? For me, I think he's one of the best leaders of this country. You know, he says things and he do it. So Ghana as a country, we have seen instances where intellectuals, as you have named it, have run this country. We have seen it. We have seen doctors, we've seen lawyers, we've seen communication experts, name them professors, they run this country. Ken is coming in with some experience of his business, you know, tag, okay? That is one area that we are also looking at. That let us put Ken as a businessman. Let him bring his business experiences to bear, and let's see how he drives this country. So the level of intelligence in terms of this intellectual group of people we have mentioned may be there, but that does not necessarily make the person a leader. And so we, the people you claim are intellectuals behind him, have seen this quality on him. And based on which the grassroots is saying, send him. And again, don't forget, leadership of a political party and also a presidency of a country is driven largely by the proportion of the votes or the proportion of the grassroots, the number of people that accept you. Okay, so if the group of people that are accepted Kenda would think that would eventually transform to a larger vote for the party, why would you want to go and try something? Why? For instance, it would be very, I don't know how to describe it, for NPP to say, let us go and pick somebody from a Volta region, you know, and try as a president. Because people in Volta region don't like NPP, and with picking somebody from Volta region, they will like NPP. It doesn't make sense. To me, it doesn't make sense. Okay? Political parties' basis of growth largely are derived from their strong areas and people who think the same way the party is thinking. Okay? And so if a candidate, it's among those people, if the candidate is accepted by the group of those people, I think that we should all go in and accept it, but not for us to try anything otherwise.
So the grassroots, you believe, accept him?
Precisely.
And it has been touted that that is his strength, that he's a grassroots person, and that the party obviously at that level...
He's a grassroots defender, yeah.
...really resonates with him. What is he going to do differently from 2023, though? Because he needed the same qualities he had then. What has changed between then and now that would get him over the line this time?
A lot of things have changed. Like I'm telling you, since Ken running now, his outburst, you know, his composure is now coming in with new ideas. There are a lot of people now behind him. I think in 2023, the kind of people you mentioned, Dr. KK, Asiwe, and name all of them, all these people were not behind Ken. Now you see a group of people coming in to guide him. Okay? And so a lot of things have changed, and that is why we believe that.
Is Bawumia's performance in the last elections a motivator for this renewed push?
I think largely, Evans, let's face facts. Largely in the last election, the then flag bearer of our party has been rejected by a larger group of Ghanaians. Okay, for what reasons, I don't want to go into that, but he has largely been rejected. Okay, and if that is the case, then as a party, we need to look at an alternative. I have sat down with a group of people very senior members of this party that told me, look, Johnny, we've tried it and it didn't work. I mean, these are coming from the mouth of senior people in this party. Why would you want to try? Why would people say that NPP is an account party, so let's go and try a Voltairean if an account person can bring you a vote? What is the essence of a political party? What's the essence of a political party? The essence of a political party is to be in government and deliver goods and services for the people. Okay? And if you are attacked as a tribal party, or you're attacked as belonging to a group of people, and those group of people continuously and consistently makes you to be in government, what is wrong about that? If they can bring you to government for you to deliver the goods and services, what is wrong with that? You said, no, it is wrong because people are saying we are anti-Ewe or we are anti-North, so let's try a Northern candidate. For me, it doesn't make sense to me.
So in other words, Kennedy Agyapong will take the party back to its Akan roots.
Whether he takes it back to Akan roots and that makes sense to win the election, I am fine with it. If it's because he's an Akan and people target as an Akan party, and if that will make NPP to win the election, hooray. Because as a party, you want to be in government.
I mean, how would you respond to those who say an analysis like that is just you being tribal?
I'm not tribal. I'm a Voltairean. I'll be extremely happy if people in Volta region are consistently voting for NPP. For some reason, the people in Volta region, no matter what we have done or all the effort that we have put in, they still perceive NDC as their party. So I cannot say, that the people in Volta region do not like NDC. They like NDC, and that's why they are voting for him. If the people in Ashanti region likewise prefer NPP, and therefore a larger group of those people will vote for NPP to be in power, why don't you follow that trend and make sure that we're in power? Political parties are set out to be in power. They are not set out to be in opposition. So whatever makes you to be in power, so long as you get to power, you deliver your goods and services to the people through that means. And so for me, I don't feel there is anything wrong if NPP is described as an Akan party, and the Akan party continuously brings us power for which we deliver goods and services. There is nothing wrong about that.
John Peter Amewu is former railways minister. I'm going to take a quick pause. When I return, the party told us today that they're going to sign a peace pact. I wonder whether they are open to signing it. Remember, Ken has concerns. Ken has concerns about whether the playing field is level. I'll ask him his own take on that. He's been campaigning. Is this level? There's a sense that the party itself has been coerced, the machinery is being coerced to deliver outcomes for a particular candidate. Are they accepting that that is a reality, or this is just a myth? And by the way, ultimately, what is Ken's message to the delegates? Stay with me. Thank you very much for staying with us here on PM Express. My guest is still John Peter Amewu, who is a former Minister for Railway Development, and he backs Kennedy Agyapong in a race to lead the NPP into the 2028 elections. And John, just before we went for the break, before this campaign started, even in 2023, the last primary, there was a sense from your camp and others that appears the party machinery itself is all in favor of one particular candidate, in this very case, the former vice president. Is the playing field level?
In the past election, I would say the playing field was not level at all. It was a fact. I sat in cabinet, and I know, and I talked to my colleague ministers, and I don't know what happened at that time. The party executives, the members of government, including top government officials, they all tailored towards one particular candidate, which we know, obviously, and that was His Excellency Dr. Bawumia. And from the national party to the constituency party, regional party, all the executives, were supporting him. And most ministers, members of parliament, district chief executives. So the government machinery then under His Excellency Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo was handed over to, Dr. Bawumia to pursue his flag bearer agenda. And that was exactly what happened. Now, coming down to this current election that we are going in on 31st. Now, there's no government in place under NPP. Everybody is on its own. So we see a bit of relaxation in terms of that push from government officials, forcing candidates or forcing delegates into a particular way. Notwithstanding that, it is also clear that most of the regional constituency and the national executives, as you see clearly, are following, or largely still supporting.
But regional executives can't do that. Are they allowed to do that? Don't the rules bar them from?
Even the national executives, the rule stops everybody from doing that.
Have you seen any?
They may not be following directly, but I'm saying that we know what they do. We know what they think, and so the playing field is better now. It's better in the sense that there is no government machinery, and so everybody is on his or her own to take decisions. I don't see any constituency where a sitting member of parliament or a minister, there is no minister under this government which belongs to NPP, will go to a polling station and ask one particular agent or a delegate to do something that he thinks is right.
Are you confident that the 31st poll will be free and fair?
Having listened to the ground and what we have done so far, I think the party has done quite a good job because they have a committee of meetings of the aspirants. Yeah. So it is the view of the aspirants that form the basis in which this election is going to be run. So I think that it's going to be fair.
The party today confirmed to us that on Thursday there will be a ceremony where the candidates will be asked to sign a peace pact. And the peace pact is, in essence, is simple, that you, regardless of the outcome, exactly. What do you make of that?
I think it's right and it's good for the growth of this party. I also think that no individual is bigger than the party. And as I told you earlier on, my loyalty, it's for NPP and therefore Ghana as a whole. My loyalty is not for any individual. And so it is important for us as a group of people, belonging to a society, to realize that that society in which we belong to, our loyalty is there. So it's good to sign the peace pact. The peace pact will be signed on the basis that the election is going to be free and fair. If for some reason the election turns out not, which of course I am not, suggesting that will be, if the election turned out not to be free and fair, candidates who took part in the election may have their voices to be heard, and they may challenge some of the results. But I believe strongly, having listened to what the candidates are saying, that this election will be free and fair.
If you look at the polling that we've seen, Global Info Analytics says that Kennedy is still trailing Bawumia. Do you accept those polls?
Sometimes I listen to the polls and I don't know. You see, I am not a believer of historical analysis to predict the future. I don't believe in that. Number two, I also don't like situations where a regime behavior will be copied and pasted in another regime. I have listened to one of his posts currently, in which he says neighbors effect, and he said that was done in the United States of America, where instead of asking who would you vote for, you ask the other person, who do you think the other person is voting for? In a society like United States of America, where that happened, it's a perfect thing, because you see in the United States, the electoral college that belongs to a particular candidate have meetings. They meet on regular basis. So each of them knows that is why even within the same electoral college, they know how the vote is going to be run. So if you go and copy that sort of scenario and bring to Ghana, and you come and ask me, assuming we are both delegates, so who do you think Evans will vote for? You may not be getting the right information. Again, because the delegates are extremely clever. In the days leading to the voting, of course, delegates will be given some TNT, which every delegate will be given. What happens in most cases is that some of the people who distribute these TNTs may not give to some particular delegate, knowing very well that this delegate is not supporting my candidate. Okay, so if you are doing a neighbor's effect and you go to such a delegate, what is he going to tell you? He may not even disclose it to you at all. And so that is why I don't believe in that pool that he comes out recently with, saying that the neighbor's effect that he copied from the United States of America is what he's using here. The norms and values in the United States is quite different from what happened here. So I totally disagree.
What are your own polls telling you?
Our own polls is putting Kennedy at 53.1%.
53?
Yeah, 0.1%, yeah.
Okay, so this is an outright victory.
It's an outright victory.
So you're not belonging to the school of thought that says that he will just simply push this to a runoff?
No, I don't think this poll will go for a runoff. Not at all, this election will go. Ken, it's winning this election. It's winning this election. 53.2%, Ken is winning this election. I'll come back here on 31st, and, we will look at the result.
As far as the party is concerned, though, the party is in a place now, the place it's never been. This is arguably the most difficult time in the party's history.
Precisely.
You have to rebuild from rock bottom, really. What will it take, and does Ken have that?
I stated earlier on, Evans, that Ken has been in this party long before some of us joined the party. So he knows the party very, very well, the formation of the party. He knows the history of the party. He knows the behavior of the party. He knows the norms, the values of this party better than any other person, maybe apart from Kobna, my very good friend. So having those tools behind him, it puts him in a very competitive platform to be able to move the party along in a certain direction. Okay? So bringing the party together in terms of unity among the 5 candidates, Ken is the best person to do that. His historical background about the party will help him to achieve that.
Yeah, but it goes beyond that, right? Because the party needs a rebuilding at all levels. Again, you have a situation where whoever is elected next week, Saturday, will now have to almost superintend over a process that elects the national executives. So we've inverted the first time. This whole thing has been inverted. You have the flag bearer elected, and then now you're going to go to the structures to elect, to rebuild. It takes far more to do this and prepare it for victory for 2028. Everybody has said 2028 is a different, it's a free period. I mean, everybody knows NDC because of historical, the way it's panned out, that he may most likely to win again. But is the rebuild? No,
I disagree with you.
I know you would. If you didn't, I would be very surprised. Historically, I mean, parties,
don't use history as a basis of, I told you I don't believe in historical performances to analyze the future.
That can acknowledge the extent of work that it will take to get this party built to the point. And do you think Ken is one that can attract the support of the rest of the 4 who he's going to contest with?
Precisely. We've seen in this party where 17 candidates went into election, and after the election, keenly contested, more than what we are saying. After the election, they come together, 17 contestants. So 5 contestants going into this election can imagine as a winner, eventual president of this country. I don't think that it's going to take him.
If he loses, will he support the winner? If it's Bawumia?
If he loses on a very competitive and a fair play, and everything is, free, everybody has seen that no hand twisting that's gone wrong. I mean, why not? He will come on board. Everybody will come on board and support. And don't forget, I always say that it's not Ken as an element alone. It's a group of people. It's a teamwork, okay? So if the team, having examined, valued, and come to conclusion that, of course, this election is run on a fair basis, of course, we will go into the election. But again, I don't see us losing the election for us to be thinking about it. We are winning this election. What you should be asking is our opponent, whether they are prepared to join us, which I know, of course, they would also be doing. But we are winning this election.
In 2023, I remember at Crossport Stadium, he came on the stage and he gave a very magnanimous speech, very gracious in defeat, threw his weight behind Bawumia and close ranks, and you went into the race and you lost quite severely. You see that happening again if he loses, where he would again do same and throw his way.
Ken is not losing this election, so I don't even want to think about that.
So for you, you are not even anticipating.
No. I don't think that will even happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
We will be on stage with Ken when he's declared as a flag bearer and the eventual president 2020, 2029, of this country. Yeah.
What has your role been, more precisely, in his campaign?
I'm a senior member of his campaign team. We looked at some of the issues. We advised him, and we talked and discussed issues of very important, and critical national issues.
Okay. Are you his intellectual cap?
When you say intellectual, you see the word intellectual, I don't know. Ken himself is an intellectual.
He is?
Yeah.
In what ways?
Why? Because what is intellectuality? What do you mean? Is it a level of education?
No, of course not.
So what makes one person intellectual?
You, clearly from a civil society, your job was to think through policy, was to decipher it, was to break it down, was to apply. Ken hasn't got that back.
Ken experience as a businessman, a successful businessman, it's more than being an intellectual. We have seen intellectuals that have failed in everything that they've done. Okay, his experience as a practical businessman is what made him what he is today. So I see that as a very good quality. It's not a matter of being a doctor, a professor, a lawyer. I mean, we have seen those people run this country, but nothing has come out profitably for majority of Ghanaians. And that is why the grassroots are saying, bring us an alternative. We want to see somebody like us. Ken is a man of his own. Everybody knows him, how he is. Bring him, let us see how this country will be run. So level of intelligence, intellectuals, as you keep saying, I don't see that as a conduit to a presidency.
And that is John Peter Amewu. I'm grateful that you joined me. All the best for
Evans,
your candidate. We'll see you,
thank you so much.
On the 31st.
31st of January.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.